these two are never far away, like ever. Like these two are always in the kitchen looking for something. What? Why are you eating that? Hey, do not. Like that's like 3 bites. You're good. Hi friends, and welcome back to another weekly food prep video. So today I'm spending some time in the kitchen with two of my BFFs, Madison and Lola, of course. I'm going to be making up a few different dishes. I have these chicken breasts here that I picked up over at Kroger. With these big chicken breasts, I like to go ahead and slice them in half to get more bang for my buck. So I'm going to do that with these. I'm going to also split this pack with Lola the fur baby. Of course, you guys know that I make all of her homemade meals as well. Now heading over to the sink, I do clean my meat. I am from the land. You're supposed to clean your meat. So I typically use either a lemon, a lime, and some vinegar, some warm water, and I just soak my meat in that. And then sometimes I will, like if it's pork or beef or something like that, I will rub the lime all over it and get it really, really clean. It's what my grandmother taught me, so it is what I do. Now I'm taking these chicken breasts here, just a few pieces that I'm cutting up for Miss Lola the pug, putting those into the slow cooker, and I'll just add some vegetables for her meals. Now with the chicken breast, I'm doing sea salt and some black pepper. Now I'm going to be making a chicken Alfredo, and I'm going to throw all this in the slow cooker to cook it up. Now, I'll leave the recipe down below for the ingredients I use in the chicken Alfredo, but honestly, it's just like the simplest version of chicken Alfredo. I have some chicken Alfredo sauce mix that I picked up penny shopping at the Dollar General. I'm going to add that in. I put in a little bit of chicken broth just to keep the chicken nice and moist, and then I'll also use some cream cheese to give it some more thickness pretty much to the sauce. I like onions, and I like onions in my chicken Alfredo, so I put in all the onions that I could. My kids are not the biggest fan of onions, but I like them, so I put them in there. Now on Sunday, when I do a big mesh of cooking, I typically put both slow cookers, the one that I'm using for the house, and then the smaller one is the one I usually cook Lola meals in, and I always put it in the back kitchenette, which is the actual daycare. We have a little kitchenette in there, so it just makes for the perfect space to go ahead and throw the crock pots there. That way they're not in my way when I'm cooking up everything else. Now I am just slicing up some red potatoes. I have already cleaned them, wiped them down pretty much. And I'm just going to be making a, I guess you can call it drumsticks and potatoes basically. But I'm going to do 2 pans, one to go in the freezer for a later meal, and then one will be tonight's dinner. So all that goes in this is potatoes. I have some drumsticks I needed to use up, and I'm also going to put some green beans in there as well. I'll be sure to leave the exact recipe and ingredients in the description box for you. It's just really a simple dish that you can throw together, freeze it, take it out when you need it, throw it into the oven, and it pretty much cooks itself. Now my drumsticks, I seasoned those last night, and I went ahead and put them in the refrigerator. That way they marinate overnight. Typically how I like to handle my meat is I love to go ahead and season my meat up and give it a couple hours to marinate. Now with the one that's going to go into the freezer, I'm using some frozen green beans. I figure it was smarter to use frozen since, well, the dish itself is going to be going into the freezer. I did go ahead and season the potatoes and green beans with a little bit of salt and pepper as well, but my chicken also does have seasoning on it as well. Now for the dish that we're going to eat for dinner tonight, I use canned green beans because it just makes sense to use canned versus the frozen. So yeah, and again seasoning this with salt and pepper as well. And I also added some smoked sausage into this dish as well. And a dually sausage would be so good, but all I had was the Eckrich, so that is what I used. And as you guys can see, those drumsticks, they just brown up so nicely. I cooked them in the oven for about an hour, 20, hour, 30 minutes. I cooked them covered, and about the last 10 minutes or so, I uncovered them. But y'all, I mean, this here was absolutely delicious. Now, the hubby and I also ate from this dish. We did not eat the potatoes as we're doing keto, so no potatoes for us. But the chicken, the sausage, and the green beans, absolutely so yummy. I served this with some brown rice for the kiddos, and then the hubby and I had cauliflower rice with this, and a side salad, of course. Y'all, I'm talking just absolutely delicious. Those drumsticks just cooked up so nicely. Again, I will leave the actual recipe and all the ingredients in the description box for you. All right, back to the chicken Alfredo. So all I do is use my little hand mixer to mix up the chicken, to shred it up. It makes it a lot easier versus doing it by hand. And then I'm dumping everything into this foil pan. Now I'm actually making this dish to go into the freezer to have an already made meal on hand. So that way when we have those super busy nights, I can just pull this out, put it into the oven, let it reheat, add some garlic toast to it, a side salad, and dinner will be served. I ended up with more than I anticipated, so I ended up putting some in smaller containers as well, which actually worked out perfectly. Since the hubby and I are not eating pasta anymore, this made for more meals for the kids doing it this way, so that worked out perfectly. Now what you don't see is that I actually did take some of the shredded chicken, mix in with the sauce, and I put it in a separate pan so that the hubby and I would have some without the pasta, and then we can just simply have that over maybe spaghetti squash or some butternut squash or whatever, just to have some for ourselves as well. Now, as you can see, I am closing up the container, and I actually put the top on backwards. Luckily enough, the hubby caught this as he was putting everything in the freezer for me, so shout out to him. Now, on these foil containers, they come with two sides. One side has the foil, and then the other side is like a just like a paper side, if you will, that you would use to actually write what the contents of the container is. That's the side that should actually go up, but again, I was putting it on backwards. When you spend all day in the kitchen, your brain totally goes to mush, and it is what it is. So again, shout out to the hubby that he caught that. So what I ended up doing is just simply switching it out with a different top. I have so many of these containers. I picked them up at the Dollar Tree. They come 3 to a pack, and I always keep them on hand. Now moving on to Miss Lola's food. So I'm going to go ahead and separate her food into individual servings and go ahead and put these in the refrigerator. This way it will be a little bit easier. So I've been going to boot camp at night, and therefore the kids are responsible for feeding her. And what I'm finding is that they're giving her either way too much or not enough. So to help that out, I figure I'll go ahead and do individual portion size, and the kids know just one container will feed her, add an egg to it, and she's good to go. Making life a little bit easier. We're just in this really busy up and down season of life right now where the kids are becoming more self-sufficient. Like, they just have to be more self-sufficient in order for mom to get any time in, and in order for dad to get any time in. It is what it is. So doing it this way for Miss Lola the Pug, make sure that she gets everything that she needs, the right portion sizes as well. So guys, definitely leave a comment down below letting me know, how do you go about saving time in the kitchen? Do you meal prep each week? Do you do batch cooking maybe once a month? How do you go about saving time as well as saving money? Guys, I sure hope that these meal prep videos are motivating for you guys. Definitely let me know if you're enjoying them as well. As always, thanks so very much for watching. Definitely be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you have not done so already. And until next time, guys, bye.